It was a Tuesday, just past 1 a.m., the kind of dead hour where the city finally exhales, and the only people out are either finishing a late shift or starting one. I was doing Uber, trying to make a bit of extra cash to cover rent. The pandemic had thinned out the rides, but the late-night crowd was usually consistent, if a little weird. I'd had my share of drunks and overtalkers, but nothing that ever truly unnerved me. Until that night. The ping came through for a pickup at an older apartment complex on the edge of downtown, a place called the Willow Creek. Not the fanciest, but not a dive either. The passenger's name was listed as Mr. Abernathy. Sounded old-fashioned. I pulled up to the dimly lit entrance. A few minutes later, the back door opened and an older gentleman, maybe in his late 60s, slid in. He was surprisingly dapper for this time of night. Tweed jacket, neatly combed silver hair, even a faint scent of what I guessed was expensive cologne. "Good evening," he said, his voice smooth and cultured. "Mr. Abernathy," I confirmed. "Indeed," he replied. I started the trip. The destination was about 20 minutes away, a residential area on the far side of town I wasn't too familiar with. We drove in silence for the first 5 minutes. Then he cleared his throat. "Driver," he began, "would you mind terribly taking a slightly more scenic route? I'm in no particular hurry, and I find the main roads so dreadfully dull. I'd be happy to compensate you for the extra time, of course." A little odd, but a bigger fare was a bigger fare. "Sure thing, Mr. Abernathy. Any particular way you'd prefer?" "Oh, just meander a bit, if you please, through some of the older neighborhoods, perhaps. I do enjoy the architecture of a bygone era." So I deviated from the GPS, winding through streets lined with Victorian houses, their windows dark and imposing under the sparse streetlights. The further we went, the quieter the streets became, the houses more spaced out, the trees taller, their branches like skeletal fingers against the inky sky. "I'm a collector, you know," he said, breaking the silence again. "Oh yeah? What do you collect?" I asked, trying to keep it light. "Ah, various things, stamps, coins, the usual trifles. But my true passion is for items with a story. Unique items. Items with essence." The way he said essence sent a little shiver down my spine, but I just nodded. "Sounds interesting." He chuckled, a dry, raspy sound. "Indeed. Each piece tells a tale, some louder than others." He paused. "Tell me, young lady, what do you collect?" The question felt a bit too personal. "Oh, not much. Dust bunnies mostly," I joked weakly. He didn't laugh. He just hummed thoughtfully. "A pity. Everyone should have a passion, something that defines them." I glanced at him in the rearview mirror. His eyes were fixed on me, and they seemed to gleam in the dim light from the dashboard. I felt a prickle of unease. The air in the car suddenly felt heavier. "We're getting close to your destination," I said, my voice a little tighter than I intended. The GPS had rerouted and was now taking us down a narrow, unpaved road. The houses here were few and far between, mostly dark with overgrown yards. It was the kind of place you see in horror movies right before something bad happens. "Ah, yes, nearly there," he murmured. The GPS announced, "You have arrived." I pulled over in front of a large, gothic-looking house, completely dark, with a wrought iron fence and a gate that was slightly ajar. It looked like it hadn't been lived in for decades. There was no other car in the long, cracked driveway. "This is it?" I asked, trying to keep the skepticism out of my voice. "Indeed," he said again, but he made no move to get out. Instead, he leaned forward slightly. "You know, my most prized pieces are in there. Would you care to see them? It's not often I find someone who might appreciate their uniqueness." My internal alarm bells were screaming. "Oh, Thank you, Mr. Abernathy, but I really should get going. Probably another ride waiting. I fumbled with my phone, pretending to check. His smile didn't reach his eyes. A shame. Some things are best appreciated up close, very close. His voice was soft, almost a whisper, but it carried a chilling undertone. He stared at me for another long moment, then slowly opened his door. Very well, perhaps another time. He stepped out, but didn't close the door immediately. He just stood there, half in, half out, looking at the house, then back at me. "Thank you for the diversion," he said, and finally, slowly, closed the door. I didn't wait. I slammed the gear into drive and peeled away, tires spitting gravel. I didn't look in the rearview mirror until I was back on a paved, well-lit street. My heart was pounding like a drum. When I felt safe enough, I pulled over to rate him. 1 star, definitely. And I was going to report him to Uber for making me uncomfortable. But when I went to find the trip in my history, it wasn't there. The ride with Mr. Abernathy, the scenic route, the creepy house, it was like it never happened. The app showed my last completed trip as the one before his. I rebooted my phone, checked again. Nothing. It was gone. I drove straight home after that, double-checking my locks about 5 times. I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd narrowly avoided something terrible. The next day, I was cleaning out my car, and under the passenger seat, I found a small, intricately carved wooden bird. It was old, the wood dark and smooth, with tiny, almost invisible eyes. I'd never seen it before. I'm meticulous about cleaning my car. I would have noticed it. I threw it in the trash, deep under some coffee grounds and old mail. But sometimes, late at night, when I'm driving, I swear I can almost smell that faint, expensive cologne. And I can't help but wonder what exactly Mr. Abernathy collected, and what essence he was looking for, and what would have happened if I'd gone inside that house. I stopped driving late nights for a long, long time after that. Some fares just aren't worth the price.